What's up, what's good everyone? In this video I will be drawing a Meet the Robinsons art. You might be wondering, why Meet the Robinsons, especially since that movie came out in 2007, which was 11 years ago. That's pretty old as far as movies go. So why Meet the Robinsons? Why now? I'ma tell ya. This week I wanted to draw 6 different drawings, one for each movie from a while ago. Do a little flashback appreciation in art. I'm also in a really super artsy mood lately because I joined an art club on Amino. And if you guys don't know what Amino is, you guys gotta check that out. It's an app specifically for fandom, so it's like really cool. And I just got a DeviantArt account, so you guys should definitely check that out as well. So I've been in this really super artsy mood lately and watching a lot of older type movies with my sister since she's 9 now, and I picked Meet the Robinsons because I saw it on Netflix and I was like, oh yeah, I really like that movie, I should watch it with Hallie because she hasn't seen it yet. And after we watched it, I was like, oh my goodness, this movie was so good. I did not realize how much I love this movie, and without hesitation I can say this movie is now my favorite Disney movie. No question. I am obsessed with this movie now. And I have a bunch of Meet the Robinsons art planned for the future. So definitely check out my DeviantArt and subscribe to my channel because I will be posting those time-lapse videos as soon as they are done, because I already started making more because this movie is so great. So if you haven't seen Meet the Robinsons, then I highly recommend that you guys do. And if you have seen Meet the Robinsons, then let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you loved it, you know, any of those, let me know your thoughts down below and who your favorite character is. Also, before I forget, there will be quite a lot of spoilers for Meet the Robinsons in this movie, so if you haven't seen it yet, please do not spoil it for yourself. This movie is too good to be spoiled. Go watch it and then come back. The other movies that I decided to do were Shrek, Atlantis, Robots, Bugs Life, and Megamind. So if you want to go check out those arts, then you can definitely do that. Link in the card or in the description box below. And without further ado, let's get started on this tutorial that kinda already started. As you may have noticed, I've started sketching this out, but I will color it in a 2-dimensional format, which is kind of stepping out of my comfort zone a little bit because usually I draw exactly what I see. Meet the Robinsons, as you probably know, is a 3-dimensional feature film. Trying not to color it 3-dimensional was really hard for me. I wanted to say for this part, when I was looking at my reference pictures, which I have a lot, I noticed that Franny's waist is the same width as her neck. I mean, I knew that her waist was thin. I mean, look at her, but as thin as her neck? What in the world, Franny? How are you that thin? I mean, she had a kid. I get it was 13 years ago, but still, what kind of diet you on, girl? This is crazy. So the idea behind this entire art was gender swapped, kind of. It was more of a role reversal. So instead of Cornelius being the inventor, Franny is the inventor, and Cornelius would be the frog music conductor person. I was trying to go based on their regular poses, and I saw quite a few pictures of Cornelius with his hands on his hips, like you can see here, which I was trying to do for Franny. I really did. I gave it my all, but her hips are so freaking small. It was hard to get both of her hands on her hips because it was just so small. So I redid that type of pose idea and just had one of her hands on her hips and the other one like behind her, draped down. I also thought that this pose made her look more sassy. We all know Franny is sassy, so I thought it really worked out changing the pose a little bit. Also, since she's the inventor in this alternate universe, she gets the lab coat, but I still wanted her to have a dress since that's her style, but fit the color scheme of Cornelius. So technically I gave her a turtleneck with a skirt, not necessarily a dress. Because in the movie, Cornelius wears like a blue vest and red pants. Actually, the younger version wore that same color scheme too, a little fun fact. So I knew that's what I wanted to do for her as well. Now for Cornelius, I actually used a reference picture online of the conductor thing because in Franny's picture reference that I had, her arms are really far out, and I know Cornelius' arms here are still kind of far out, but I also wanted to see what a guy's pose would look like, because I figured it probably wouldn't be as feminine, and I wanted to see how big to make the arms, you know, reference and stuff like that. I used 2 reference pictures for this, the one of the random guy that I found who was a conductor and Franny's. Now obviously I'm not going to put Cornelius in a dress like Franny was wearing. I'm still having them keep their style a little bit here, so I decided to give him the suit of the guy that I saw from the reference picture of the conductor thing. But then I also tweaked that suit a little bit to be more cartoony and to kind of be like Franny's picture, where her dress was really swoopy and looked like kind of there was wind or she was moving really fast. So I made his like tail, is that what that thing is called? I don't know, the end of his suit kind of swoopy so that it kind of looked like Franny's dress in a way. Can I also just mention that Cornelius with these big round glasses and the wand basically makes him look like Harry Potter 100%. I intentionally wanted to give Cornelius this longer tie so that I could put Franny's dress pattern in it, which you'll be able to see better once I color it. Because I knew his suit was all going to be one dark navy blue, but Franny's dress is so colorful, so I wanted to incorporate that for Cornelius' alternate universe thing. Then I needed to get their sizes right, their height. I couldn't remember exactly what their height difference was. I figured Cornelius was taller, but I wasn't sure, so I used this reference picture and fixed their height that way. I also noticed that his hand was still super wide, and I wanted them to be closer together. I ended up bending his hand more so that the picture wouldn't be as wide and they would be closer. I mean, come on, they're husband and wife. Even in the alternate universe, you know, they gotta be close. So I made a poll on the Disney Amino of what their ship name should be, because I was like, Cornelius and Franny, that doesn't give much to work with here, you know what I'm saying? I was like, what's it gonna be, like Corny? Or Franelius? Franson? Fruus? I don't know. So I made a poll, and Franelius is the winner, is their ship name. Now for her lab coat, I noticed it's not physically possible for a lab coat to be just form-fitting on the top and not on the bottom. They're usually pretty loose. So I was going to draw a belt around her waist, but I thought it looked a little distracting and the color scheme wouldn't work with what I was going for. Since Cornelius doesn't wear a belt in the movie, I didn't have a color to use for that. So I was like, I'll use a button. And when I started outlining, I actually ended up getting rid of the button entirely because the button was too distracting as well. I don't think it's too noticeable that it's just kind of attached. I mean, maybe he invented some special adhesive to make his lab coat stick like Velcro. I wanted to go for a more traditional looking type of art initially, so I went through and looked at a lot of different textures of brushes to use for the outlining and went with one of the thicker pencils and started outlining all of the lines that I wanted to keep. As you see, I went with a really thick outline, which I thought would be way too harsh on the face, especially with her little details of the eyes and eyelashes, pupils, and all that. So I decided to shrink the brush just for the small details in her face and a little bit on her hands. I could have outlined Cornelius, but I decided to color Franny. She has brown eyes, but when I put the brown on, I noticed that with the black pupils, it was losing some of her eyes. The black pupils made the brown look darker than it actually was, so I put a little bit of yellow around the pupils so that her eyes stood out more. One of the defining facial characteristics I think that Franny has is her eyeshadow that she has along the crease of her eye that make her eyes look more open than they actually are, I think, at most times. So I decided to incorporate that. For her hair, I did take a specific technique of not filling it in completely. Because she has black hair, I didn't want to lose any of the shape that her hair has, especially since it's very iconic with her swoop there in the center. So I specifically did not make it entirely black so that you could see some of the texture there and maybe it kind of looks highlighted. Can we also just say really quick that Franny looks exactly like Wilbur? Now I get that she is his mom, but no, if you look at her face and then you look at Wilbur's face, like, they have the exact same face. It's just Franny has a bow and eyelashes and Wilbur doesn't. Seriously, did that kid get any of Cornelius's genes? Because tell me one characteristic that Wilbur has of Cornelius's. He has 100% of his mother's genes. Cornelius's hair was the last thing that I had to do, and I saved this for last because I knew it was going to be very difficult for me to do. Trying to figure out how much detail I wanted to put into it, but specifically the color. I am not joking when I say I literally spent an entire minute trying to figure out the color of the darkest part of his hair, and I could not do it. It was just so tripping me up because the lighter color of his hair and the darker color just clash in my head. I'm like, but the darker color isn't like the lighter color, and it's not just a darker color of the light. It's like I couldn't figure it out. So I kind of cheated. I drug in the picture reference that I had and selected the color of his hair, and to my surprise, I actually was really close. Like, look at that. I was pretty darn close. But I still didn't trace it, and I got rid of the picture as soon as I successfully got the color, so it's fine. I colored it all, the dark part, and then I selected the lighter color by memory this time. I didn't drag in the picture, and colored just the parts that I wanted to be the lighter color. After I did some minor adjustments of sizing and positioning, that was it! The Meet the Robinsons art for this week flashback appreciation is done! And I love how it turned out. All the colors is so colorful. His tie, I think, is probably my all-time favorite. But Scientist Franny is pretty awesome because Franny's my favorite character. Thank you guys so much for watching, and that was pretty much it. Like I said earlier, if you guys want to check out the other flashback movie appreciation art thingies that I did, the links will be in the description and in the card. If you like this video, be sure to hit that like button, and if you want to see more videos like this, then click the subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!